Between occupation and apartheid. This was the name of a meeting held by left-wing parties in the Israeli parliament. The meeting caused serious clashes between right and left party members that said that it's inconceivable that an event accusing the Jewish and democratic state of Israel of apartheid be held in the Israeli parliament. Now, the way I see it, there is no other nation that wants so much to live in friendship and mutuality with other nations than the people of Israel. The problem is that some of the Arab population cannot accept our presence here in the land of Israel. So we're not the racists here. They are. They should be blamed for it, and not us. But practically, we're blamed for it. So why are things so twisted around? Because the solution against this racism is in our hands. What is the solution? The solution is that if we start connecting with one another, then by that we will oblige the entire world to connect. Meaning that the problem is that the remoteness, the hatred, the rejection in the nation of Israel is a problem of the entire world. So just to see if I get it, you're saying that we're blamed for racism because we have the potential to solve the entire problem of racism worldwide, and it depends on our ability to build harmonious relations between us Jews, right? Between us Jews, and therefore it's not important what goes on with our Arab neighbors or whoever else in the world, but between us, we have to feel that we are racist toward each other, that we're in hate toward one another. Look, if you check the facts, then Arabs living here in the state of Israel have a far better standard of living than any other country in the Middle East. It's not important. Why are you telling me about these numbers, figures altogether? We're not talking about the standard of living. We're talking about the hate that has to disappear between Jews, and then, to that measure, hate between all nations and between all people in the world will disappear too. Why? Because that's how reality is built. That we're in the center of reality. And if we keep a certain law, treat each other in a certain way, abide by a certain rule, then that rule spreads to everyone. There are those that say that if we finally leave Judea and Samaria and give them a country, we'll have some peace and quiet. We won't. We simply won't. And altogether, I'm against taking any steps, making any steps towards Arabs, towards any other nation. What I'm saying is that we have to focus only on our existence, on our connection. If we correct our connection, the connection between Jews, then by that, for sure, we will influence the attitude of all nations towards Israel and also between themselves. There are those that offer a different solution. It's written that forever we shall live by our sword, then that's our fate. No point in putting your trust in any peace agreement with the Arabs. Strengthen your army, be ready to defend yourself, and everything's gonna be fine. No, things aren't going to be fine. But there will be wars all the time. On the other hand, there are those that say that maybe the problem is that we don't know how to explain to the world what is really going on here in Israel. The world doesn't want to hear any smart ideas or explanations from us. What they want to see is how we become a positive force in the world, that we will function as a positive force. And if we don't do that, then we bring harm to the world. The nation of Israel is always in the middle, and that's in the best case scenario. causing good or causing evil, but the world wants to see us as those that cause good. And that's how they see us. That everything that happens in the world happens because of us, because of our bad attitude toward nature, towards the Creator, towards each other. This is what they feel from the inside. And this is the reason for anti-Semitism. This is where it comes from. And this has been going on for thousands of years. This isn't something new. And so we have no choice. We have to acknowledge this and work towards connection, to come closer to each other. And if we do it, things are going to be great for us and for the rest of the world. And if we don't, things are going to be bad for us and for the rest of the world. And eventually, the world will cause us so much harm that we will have no choice. But by way of suffering, we will nonetheless accept the law of love and connection. Look, right to tell you, Dr. Laitman, you as a Kabbalist, when you look at an Arab who hates Jews, what does he feel in the very depth of his heart in relation to us? What does he feel? He feels that he's righteous, that he feels like killing the Jew because he sees the Jew as the source of all evil in the world now. How will we be able to permeate the depth of their heart and change this feeling? I don't relate to them at all. I'm not trying to explain anything to Arabs or to the nations of the world, ever. It's impossible. And you don't need to. I'm turning to the Jews, saying, let's come closer and build the right and proper relations between us. And by that, for sure, in the shortest and most direct way, we influence all the nations in the world, the entire world. This approach, it sounds very condescending. It gives Jews a force that no one else has. Exactly. Do you have any other nation of 15 million people that everyone's talking about, that everyone's focused on, that everyone's looking at, hating, rejecting it for thousands of years? No. So why are you avoiding this fact? Don't. We truly are special, for better or for worse. But in the meantime, it's for the worse, all the time. But let's change ourselves for the better. Let's make a good factor out of ourselves. There are 15 million people here that if they connect, the world connects too. As simple as that. If they fight, the world is also in strife. Your overview is very different, very revolutionary. How is it possible to look at everything that goes on in our lives from this inner point of view? What kind of glasses should I put on in order to see things the way you do, internally wise? I see the whole of reality the way it's built, the way all of its parts are interconnected, and I see that there is the upper force in the center, and under it there's this group that was formed in ancient Babylon under Abraham. And since then, this group has just one mission, which is to reach love another as yourself, and for this force to spread from them to the rest of the world. Is love a force? Love is the greatest force. It's the upper force.